friends. Good evening, friends. Once again, a warm welcome to this third edition or the third session of the Udan 2 series. I hope all of you are healthy and safe in this COVID pandemic now. Initially, we thought like many people of us had common cold and all, but as of now, the spread is much milder, I should say. And coming back to the Udan series, which we started last week, just a small recap before we start with the third session. The first session was conducted basically on the 17th of January, that is last Monday. And the topic which we handled was change versus transformation. And like what I mentioned it last time, as far as my learnings from that, this was basically the gift of appreciation. Appreciating from your heart and appreciating from your mind. The biggest difference is there, it lies within that way. And if you really want to be successful in life, you need to learn this art of appreciation. And of course, about self-visualization, you should actually be able to visualize yourself, what exactly you want to be and in which position. And then on 19th January, we had our second session, which was on attitude. That is on how to build a positive attitude, how to prepare your journal of gratitude, and above all, how to raise your self-esteem. So these were the topics which we had discussed in the last two sessions. And today is going to be the final session of this Udan 2 series. But before I get the thing started and I ask Mihir to speak, I would request Mr. Mayur, who has made his special presence over here today. Very much privileged to have you, sir, over here amongst our clients who are here actually attending this program. And just to introduce him to all the participants, he is basically the cluster head of HDFC Mutual Fund for Goa. And he is in charge of all the operations as far as the sales and marketing as far as HDFC Mutual Fund is concerned. We are very much privileged to have him attend our program today. And with all the participants, slowly, so the numbers are increasing. But in order to maintain our time horizon, that we have kept this limit as far as the time is concerned, we would like to get it started with Mayur first introducing himself and giving his inputs on behalf of HDFC Mutual Fund. And then soon after that, Mihir will take over as far as the session is concerned. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. First and foremost, my sincere gratitude I want to express to you, Doctor, for your commendable job. I mean, the efforts that you have put for getting our youngsters in Goa and showing them the path of achieving financial freedom. Very few people practice this. In fact, we keep saying catch them young, start early. But you are one person who has actually put this into practice. So I'm sure the efforts that you have put will go a long way in our youngsters achieving the goal of financial freedom. Number two, Mihir, before Mihir starts, last year we had a session of Udan, again a series of 3 programs. And this is Udan 2.0, where we are having the 3 sessions. So today's session will be equally more exciting. Eagerly waiting for Mihir to start. And before I hand over to Mihir, let me just tell you people that at HDFC Mutual Fund, we've every year we come up with a handbook, yearbook basically. So this year also we have come up with a yearbook 2022. And in this yearbook, we talk about 5 items. Basically, we talk about global economy and the market. We also talk about the future key trends. We talk about Indian economy. We talk about our equity markets, and we also talk about our fixed income markets. Okay, I request you and urge you to go through that. I will be sending the WhatsApp copy to Dr. Celso so that Dr. Celso can forward it to each one of you. Do go through that, and also don't forget to go through our special section which talks about the warrior queens of India under the section Incredible India. So do go through that as well. So, and those who have not started SIPs as yet, I request you, please do start. Those who already have, please continue with the SIPs. Okay, markets will be volatile. That's the nature of market, but we have to play it through the SIP route. And that's the message which I want to leave you with. So without wasting any further time, over to you, Mihir. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Mayur.
you. Yeah. Yes,
Thanks,
Mayur.
Mayur, and thanks, Dr. Fernandez, for organizing this 3 programs under the Udan series. So, good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to you, for the last program of the Udan version 2.0 series. So, before we start the program, okay, as usual, I will start off with a very powerful video which I would like to share with you. But can I request everyone to please switch on their cameras so I can see your lovely faces on a Monday evening. Wow. Okay. Come on. What about the others? All right. The others are waiting for you all. Thank you. All right. The others also, please switch on the cameras. All right. So quickly, just let me share with you my screen. Just one sec, huh? Okay. So I'm going to share this picture with you. All right. And we have mentioned that we're going to talk about something like train the brain for your character. All right. But what I want you to tell me, okay, just make your observations very, very clearly right now. Okay. I'm going to come back to this picture in some time. Have a look at this picture. And you need to make your observations as to what do you see in this photograph or the picture which is shown on your screen. What are your observations for this picture? Okay, just see it and make a note of it. I'm going to come back to it in a bit after the video, but let me play this very, very interesting video for you right now before we get into our discussion. So here we go.
You're a human being, the greatest of all the creations of God, especially all of you sub 25 who are sitting here. I don't want any one of you sub 25 sitting here to believe you're here for ordinary things in life. You're not here for ordinary things in life. The Vedas has one prescription for all of us. Lift yourself so that you can lift others. You have to believe, every one of you who is sub 25 here, with the prime time of your life ahead of you, you got to believe that you'll do something spectacular with your life. You're not here to be lost in a statistical entity. You're a human being, an ordinary barrister, ordinary selfish barrister. He was convinced Britishers should rule India. He wanted to earn in a foreign currency. Went and settled in South Africa to earn in rands. Was living for me, mine, myself. And the moment he identified a goal larger than himself, the transformation of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi to Mahatma Gandhi transformed the whole world, which means inside one human being, there is power to transform the rest of the world. An ordinary school teacher who did not even believe she had the capabilities to become the headmistress of a school, went on to build missionaries of charities known to the world as Mother Teresa, feeding over 4 million people in 140 countries in the world, even much after her death. A carpenter's son and a shepherd till 30. And in 3 years' time, Jesus Christ was able to author one of the largest revolutions in the world. A university dropout in Steve Jobs was able to revolutionize the way technology operates even today. Our lifestyles have been changed. Every day we are seeing around us. And Azim Premji transforming a Shiakai company into a world-respected Wipro. Five people starting Infosys, and after several years, not able to even draw from their own organization what employees get paid. Still, a world-famous Infosys was built. That power of a human being, that potential of a human being is sleeping inside each one of you. To think that we are all here, struggling in our day-to-day life, to be lost as a statistical entity in the world population, that your birth was not noticed, the way you live will not be noticed, and your death also will not be noticed, that we will just exist, is not for a human being. Certain speeches are born out of certain lives. Certain lives are born out of certain speeches. I'm talking out of experience. I know where I was. I know where I am. And not because I am special. A human being is special. In my case, my potential has started manifesting. In some of your case, it has not yet manifested. In some of their case, it has already manifested. The only difference between us is manifested potential and unmanifested potential. That's all. There is no human being without a potential. You just have to discover that magic. Somewhere you have to believe you're here for something very meaningful beyond me, mine, myself. The beliefs you hold in the beginning of a journey define the journey. I want each one of you to believe. I don't care what your age is. Christ began at 30. Prophet began at 40. Abraham Lincoln began at 52. Colonel Sanders established Kentucky Fried Chicken at 65. George Bernard Shaw, when he was in his 90s, broke his hand. 90s. You know why? At 90, he realized, I've never climbed a tree in my life, and decided to try. And he fell down. At 90, he was ready to explore life. So there is no age to be awakened in life. You just have to make this decision. My entire past was over with the sunrise. Your entire future begins today. The question is, from here, how am I going to live the rest of my life? And that's the challenge we take up. The beliefs I hold in the beginning of a journey define the journey. Even if one of you sitting here who walked into this program thinking you're one more person, and if that one of you from this program can leave from here saying that in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, I will not be one more person. I will be the person. I will be a role model. I will create a social reformation. I will lift myself so much that I will be able to lift people around. If one of you can, this program has achieved this objective. And I'm searching for that one person somewhere sitting here.
I hope you like the video. Okay, so just going back to the, okay, so let me just quickly see in the chat box. Someone has, okay. All right, so as you see the picture on your screen, okay, what does it actually talk about? What does this picture mean? And who's that person in that picture? Come on, you can just put it down in the chat box. Who's that person in the picture? Think. I'm sure you can see the picture on the screen. Okay. That's actually you. Okay. That's you in the picture. So someone has just written down someone who has achieved his goal. All right. So it's a reflection of self. Okay. The person is us, a man with undiscovered potential. Wow. Okay, very interesting answers. Okay, but yeah, that's actually you. So if you have to train your mind to develop character, all right, we spoke about a lot of concepts in the last 2 sessions, and I think very nicely Dr. Fernandez has done a quick recap, okay, where we spoke about change, transformation, we spoke about self-esteem, self-confidence, okay. And I thought, there's one more thing which we really need to look into. If you have to really train yourself or train the mind to develop that character, to ensure that you're able to take that road to success, is something where we speak about as called self-belief. Now, I'm sure you'll agree that success requires that you believe in yourself, 110%, all right, 25 hours of every day. So for some people, this concept of belief, it comes naturally. But for some people, okay, or for others, it must be, it can be learned also. and then can take some amount of time for practicing it. So if you think that, if my self-belief is not that great, okay, can I ensure that my self-belief can become better? Of course, you can make it better. All right. And how will you do that? We will share those steps with you also in some time. So when we talk about self-belief, typically what is self-belief? It's all about the trust in one's positive characteristics. It's your confidence and your self-worth. Okay. Now, if you have to define what it means, though, here you go. It can be defined as confidence in your own abilities or judgment. Why is it important? Because self-belief is such an important quality to have, as without the ability to believe in your own worth and actions, you may struggle to reach your full potential. And thereby, you'll be able to live a less fulfilling life. Okay, that's the reason why self-belief is important. Now, if some people feel that, my self-belief as a concept is excellent, but some people find it very difficult to believe also in themselves, and they want to make it better. So these are those important points which you need to keep in mind. Okay. And if you follow these simple steps, which I'm showing you on your screen, I'm sure it will help you to ensure that your self-belief becomes better and better. First thing, you have to win in your mind first. So you might be naturally confident, okay? But enormous obstacles can at times shake your faith in whatever you have planned, okay? So this process of winning in the mind, it develops great courage to overcome any kind of an obstacle or challenge that is going to come your way. You will surely confidently find victory in all the small little things that you're doing. Okay. So it's extremely important that you win in your mind first. Second thing, you will have to undiscover the cause of that temporary disbelief. Okay. So you may have to examine your strengths, the limitations, and the reality of your situation very, very honestly every single day. So some days you won't believe in yourself, which is perfectly okay. But if you can unpack to see where the temporary disbelief is coming from, you will identify what is actually required for you to keep moving forward. Okay. It could be probably a change of strategy, which you may have to. All right. But that will help you to move forward. So relentlessly moving forward ultimately will help you to move towards success. All right. And that's the beauty of, uncovering the cause of temporary disbelief. Third important thing you need to keep in mind is to ensure that you're very, very crazy about your beliefs. You have to be maniacal in your beliefs. So it's very odd that we often need a third party opinion to believe in our mission, okay, in life, or whatever we want to do in life. Now that does not have to be the case. The best of entrepreneurs are repeatedly told, that they are crazy, that they should be reasonable or realistic. But the kind of, belief that they've got in what they're doing is phenomenal. So self-belief means willing to go against those societal norms and some very aggressive incumbents with vaster resources than yours. Be maniacal in what you want to do, in your beliefs, in your determination, and then only you'll be able to truly believe in what you're doing. Another important thing, you have to stay enthusiastic. You have to be happy in what you're doing. So unshakable self-belief comes from experience, and failure is just a part of that. Okay. So even if you fail, it's not the end of the world. So failure is part of getting to that next step. So it's okay. All right. Please invest in yourself. You need to invest in yourself to develop your competencies. So if you heard, it was a beautiful video which I shared with you. He said that, every human being has got potential, but the only difference is some have got potential which is manifested potential. Some have got potential which is unmanifested potential. Okay. So you will also have to, develop competence. You will have to, work on yourself. Okay. Try and understand that everyone's got that potential. It's all about identifying the potential, using that potential to the fullest. And that is going to be the biggest differentiating factor between you and the others out there. Another important thing, learn to focus on all the positive things. So no one is you, okay? And that is your power. So if you don't believe in yourself, who will believe in you? It's as simple as that. And confidence is contagious. Understand one thing, okay? So people want to be around those who exude confidence and a sense of purpose. So do not get hung up on your failures, okay? Learn the lessons. It's okay to fail. The mind is extremely powerful. It will believe what you feed into it. And the more you focus on the positives, the better you will stay focused on the goals, on your goals. You'll be able to perform better, and you will see that growth, and you'll see that you're able to take that Udan to success also. Okay. Then you need to keep working at it. All right. So if you don't master your mind will master you. And that is going to sabotage the entire purpose. All right. So keep your eyes on the vision that you want to create. Yeah. So I have Ankita who was raising her hand. Yes, Ankita. Okay. So keep your mind and your eyes on the vision that you want to create. You will have to listen to your intuition and build your intuitive intelligence. And most successful people, they work very, very innovatively, with their gut instincts. Okay. And most important thing, you have to set the right expectations. You cannot get into something and expect that it's going to be an overnight success. All right. So if you get into something also, now ensure that you're able to have the right expectations for what you're doing. Understand one thing, that many people believe that a strong self-belief, a strong belief in one's self is something that we are born with. Okay. Now this suggests that people without self-belief can never develop one, and they're stuck living and having a low self-esteem. So all this is correlated. However, that's wrong. All right. So self-belief is something that can be developed and rebuilt if it is lost also. Understand one thing. Now, why is self-belief important? Let's understand that also. So as the name suggests, self-belief has to do with how much a person believes in himself or herself. It actually encompasses the belief in your values, your skills, your knowledge, and your abilities. Self-belief is very, very important because it affects a person's lifestyles and the choices that he or she makes. Now, a person, without self-belief will constantly downplay his or her own abilities while settling for less than what they deserve actually. And most times though, the individual takes whatever blow life deals because they do not believe that they can deserve better. On the other hand, a person with self-belief knows their worth and knows their value. That is the beauty. Now, let's look at this. How can you be unshakable? Simple points. Okay. So if you're going to invest, I told you that you need to develop your competencies. So if you're going to invest in these 5 strategies that I've shared with you, you will be able to not only build unshakable self-confidence, but also sustain it over a period of time. You have to conquer your inner critic. So I just showed you in the previous one that try to identify what are those small little things that are stopping you from believing in yourself. Okay. So conquer your inner critic. You need to reflect on accomplishments. So whatever you've done in life, okay, think about that, all the good things that you've done. Maintain good posture, develop an equality mentality, and try things that make you uncomfortable. You need to step out of your comfort zone. The moment you're willing to step out of your comfort zone, I can guarantee you, it's going to be a different world altogether for you. No one can stop you from achieving what you have to. That is the beauty. Okay. So these 5 things: conquer your inner critic, reflect on accomplishments, maintain good posture, please develop an equality mentality, and try doing things which are not comfortable at all for you. That will help you to get out of your comfort zone. That is the beauty. Now, why do some people, let's understand this also, that why do some people lack self-belief? Now, no one is born without self-belief. Let's understand that, okay? So most times, we find ourselves in certain situations and circumstances that can negatively affect our self-esteem. So either temporarily or in the long run. Now, for you to rebuild your self-belief, and understand the circumstances that made you lose it can actually help you as to how you need to proceed forward. So one of the reasons, why people lack self-belief is something called unhappy homes. Okay, so growing up in an unhappy home can reduce a person's belief in himself or herself. Okay, this is because as kids, the way you were treated by others, especially by your family, or majorly influences the way you view yourself. That could be one of the things. Another thing could be negative peers. So being surrounded by people who constantly discourage you and make you feel like you're not good enough, and that can help. That will definitely ensure that your confidence goes down. Okay, so there are a lot of things that you can actually think about because of which your self-belief goes down. Another important thing out here, which I want to share with you. So I shared with you what is how can you be unshakable. Let's also look at something where, what do you do, or how will you ensure that even if people are trying to demotivate you, you ensure that you will keep developing your self-belief. So once you understand the reason behind your lack of self-belief, you can proceed to work on how to build it also. So there are 8 different ways of which you can do it. All right. First thing, know who you want to be. All right. So when self-doubt or self-pity is not eating at you, who would you like to be? If you are not afraid, what would you do? Think about all those things. Okay. To gain self-belief, you need to work towards these goals while pushing away that low self-esteem which comes in your way. So give yourself that space, okay, to dream a little and make a list of all those things you would like to achieve and believe. And in this process, okay, in the process of doing this, whenever there's a self-doubt which comes up, push them away until you create a comprehensive list. So you have to know who you want to be. Second thing, I don't know in the first session if we spoke about affirmations or not. All right. I think if I'm not mistaken, I told you that you should write down affirmations. Okay, that really helps. So you have to affirm yourself. So self-affirmations are there. It's a very, very strong tool. Okay. That will reinforce your belief in yourself. Now, this is because as humans, our self-image influences our behavior. If you see yourself as one of the most good-looking people in the world, okay, you will definitely behave like one. Okay, and if you see yourself as a future, let's say as the future CEO of a company, you will start acting like that also. So what you need to see yourself as someone worthy and amazing, that is a big thing out here. So affirmations can help you create that image. What are affirmations? They are positive statements that knock out the doubts that you have in your mind, especially when there's a challenge that you're facing in terms of believing in yourself. So write down those positive statements, okay? And once you write it down, you can take a picture of it and paste it somewhere where you can read it every day, or you can put it as a wallpaper also of your mobile phone or your laptop or your desktop, okay? But write down these affirmations and that will really help you. Third important thing out here I want to share with you is that you will have to face your fears. One way, okay, to develop self-belief is by facing the fear that we got in our mind. Now, the fear that we have in our mind, who's created that fear? It's us. We have created the fear, so we are responsible for that. So you do not have to face them at all once, okay, together, or go for the scariest first. You can choose to start step by step. So start by figuring out the source of your self-doubt, okay, and start tackling that problem. So it helps a lot because the moment you're able to face that fear, it means that you're willing to step out of that comfort zone also, okay? And once you face and conquer your fears, believe me, it's going to be very, very different for you. You're going to be a very, very different, transformed individual out here, okay? I told you that you need to address your inner critic also. So if society is the reason, say, behind your loss of self-belief, it can be addressed. It can be rebuilt also. If you are your own critic, okay. However, your confidence cannot be regained if you do not, shut off that critic voice which is going on in your mind, in your head. Okay. So sit down. Start using this concept called the SWOT analysis. I'm sure all of you must have heard of something called SWOT analysis, where you are able to identify your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And the moment you are able to identify these 4, do it once in a year. Once in a year, okay, you will actually realize where you stand. Another important thing is that you need to ensure that you win in that mind first, the first slide I shared with you. Okay, so before you take a step towards your goals or your aspiration, make sure you're all set up to win. Do not take things, okay, so lightly, because you know that you have that potential in you. All right, you have to identify that potential and start using that potential to your fullest. One important thing I want to share with you out here is that please cut off yourself from people who are always negative in life. The moment you're with people who think positively, what will happen is that people who are positive, they know there's a problem, but they always know that there is a solution to the problem. Okay, so their focus is not on the problem, but the focus is on the solution. But people who are very, very pessimistic, they know there's a problem, but they will always try to expand the problem and not focus on the solution. So that's extremely important, that you do not, hang around with those people who are always thinking negatively. And before I share one very, very interesting video where you'll see that this Hollywood actor Arnold Schwarzenegger, so things that we have just spoken in the last 3 sessions, okay, all the 3 sessions, a beautiful video where it will be a nice recap for you also. So I thought, let me just share with you that video. So final thoughts. Marilyn Monroe once said that wanting to be someone else is a waste of the person you are. Okay, so if the reason you lost your self-belief is that you believe others are better than you need to make that conscious effort into changing that mindset. Okay, think of all the amazing things you can do that other people cannot do, and remind yourself that you are just as deserving as the other person. And I can guarantee you it's going to make a lot of difference. Okay, so have a look at this video and then we'll take the conversation forward.
People ask me all the time, they say to me, what is the secret to success? So many young people are getting so much advice from their parents and from the teachers and from everyone. But what is most important is that you have to dig deep down and ask yourselves, who do you want to be? Not what, but who. And I'm talking about not what your parents and teachers want you to be, but you. I'm talking about figuring out for yourselves what makes you happy. No matter how crazy it may sound to the people. I spent a lot of time by myself so I could figure out and listen to what is inside my heart and inside my head. Something burned inside me. I wanted to be different. I was determined to be unique. I was driven to think big and to dream big. I always wanted to be very intense. I always wanted to be number one. I took it very seriously in my career. And so this intensity always paid off for me. This commitment always paid off for me. I didn't want to just be a bodybuilding champion. I wanted to be the best bodybuilder of all times. I didn't want to just be a movie star. I wanted to be a great movie star that's the highest paid movie star and have the BAFTA title building. I mean, how many times have you heard that you can't do this, you can't do that, and it has never been done before? I hear this all the time. I was told to my face, you're nothing but a giant muscle. You can't act. You have no future, and you have an accent that is laughable. That just shows you again so much for it can't be done. This is why I try to tell you, anything and everything can be done if you can visualize it, if you believe in yourself. You're going to find the naysayers in every turn that you make. Don't listen. Just visualize your goal, know exactly where you want to go. Trust yourself. So pay no attention to the people that say it can't be done. Trust yourself no matter how